you look at my expressions and you can tell, and I try to hide it, but it's one of my weaknesses. Whatever I'm feeling tends to show up on my face. But I want you to pay attention to your own expressions first, and your own nonverbal communication first, your own tendencies. This is the first step in changing the ones you want to change. It can also give you insight into how you are feeling. If you notice that your gestures, and me too, my eye rolls, if you notice your gestures are incongruent with what you're saying, then you have to correct yourself, first of all. That's the first thing. Pay attention to your own behavior. Secondly, become a student of other people, especially those people that you're in a relationship with. A lot of misunderstandings can be avoided if we understand the people we're talking to. If we understand and we become a student, what do their facial expressions say? Why are they approaching me? Become familiar with their nonverbal communication. It can help you understand the people you're talking to. When your arms are folded on the show, I know you're getting a little upset. Yeah. And there are certain nonverbals that you're going to see me do, on the show, because, I tried to make, and I'm glad you said that, because one thing you have to consider is that, are your nonverbals incongruent with what you're saying? Is your nonverbal, I'm fine. You look like you're about to holding in a flatulence or something, and you're like, I'm fine, I'm okay. Your nonverbals are saying you're not. Your nonverbals cannot be incongruent with what you're saying. Are you happy? I'm happy. No, you're not. You're just not. Okay? Do you understand? Yeah, I think I get it. No, you don't. You're scratching your head. It's a sign that you don't get it. Look at your own nonverbals and make sure that they're congruent. And thirdly, think before you act. If you're questioning what someone is feeling or saying by their nonverbals, think before you act. So many people have started arguments, or they have missed out on what could be an incredible date or an incredible relationship because they miscued what they were seeing. They miscued what they were seeing. I've talked to single people who've gone on dates. Man, no, I don't like the way she chew. No, the way I don't like, the way he walked. No. He talked too close to me. Now, you might think these are legitimate, but these nonverbals can be a result of nervousness, can be a result of anything. God knows, when I went out on the first date with my wife, I was nervous. I was just too cool to show it. No. But for real, I was nervous, but you have to make sure that your nonverbals are consistent with what you're saying. Okay. If you say I'm fine and your genuine feelings don't comport, you'll have a hard time resolving issues. That is so true. And what it's going to do is going to cause the person not to ask you again. If they ask you if you are okay and you say you are, but you're not, why are they going to ask you again? And if they keep asking, no, I said I'm fine. No, I'm okay. Really? You know you're not okay. I know you're not okay. Anybody observing knows you're not okay. Yet you're going to stick to that narrative. You will not resolve conflict. You just won't. It won't happen. Okay? So let's get into what some of the nonverbals are. What are some of the nonverbals, rather? Let's get into what they are. And you tell me as we're going forward. First of all, facial expressions. It's amazing how much we can say with our face without ever uttering a word. Facial expressions are responsible for, a huge proportion of our nonverbal communication. How we smile or we frown. The person's look on their face is the first thing we see. And I'm guilty in this. Because sometimes, especially, I was mentioning, headaches that I'm having. Sometimes I'm squinting or whatever. And I just more recently, my wife said, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" And I said, "Yes, but I'm having a headache." I was squinting, but it looked like my words were not comporting with my expression. But I had to let her know, no, this is a different reason. But it was communication. It was just communicating. what's going on. Okay, but it's amazing how your facial expressions can change the meaning or completely absolve the meaning of what you're trying to say. Okay, here's something here. Why do people say they're okay, but they're not? Could it be that they're trying to work it out in their minds for real? Okay, good question. All right, let's think about that. If I ask you, or you ask your spouse, or you ask your loved one, are you okay? And they say, I'm fine. Okay, that's a lie, and you're not fine. If you ask your loved one, are you okay? And they say, no, not really, but I'm going to work this out. I need about 30 minutes to think this through and to deal with it, and then let's come together and talk. Tell me which would be the most effective. The second. It would be the most effective way to approach it. If you're trying to work something out, simply communicate it. If you're not feeling good or you're upset or something, simply say it. I'm something, we've been discussing something that's been bothering me, but you know what? I want to work this one out first. So give me some time to deal with it, and then let's come together. A couple hours. That's the mature way of resolving it. That's the mature way of resolving it. Someone said here. Okay, Nick D says, hi, Nick. I hate when men roll their eyes and swear they don't roll their eyes. Okay, men do roll our eyes, okay? But, it's like, yeah. I think what men are saying, we don't roll our eyes like y'all roll y'all eyes. Okay. Our eye rolls are a little more subtle, Yeah, men do roll their eyes. And I understand why that would be frustrating to you, Nick. But yes, definitely. A guest, Kathy St. John, says she snarls her lip. I don't know what that looked like, but I hear you, okay? But you're absolutely right, Martha. It's passive aggressiveness. And when we do that and we say, I'm fine, when we're actually not, what we're saying is, and we know we're not, and you know we're not, this world of knowledge is out there that understands that things are not okay. And yet you're saying it. What you're saying is, number one, either I'm going to keep this to myself and let you guess, which is unfair, and that's a way of maintaining power and kind of punishing you, okay? Or it means that I'm not ready to talk about it, and I know I'm not ready to talk about it, and if I say something, I'm going to explode, so I ain't going to say nothing. Still the wrong way to do it. Again, express what you feel. Use your inside, your adult words. It works. Okay. It's so hard to keep a straight, kind-looking facial expression when the other person is getting on your last nerve. Well, yeah, of course it is. But again, marriage ain't for punks. It just ain't for punks. This is a grown-up thing. And you don't have to keep a great expression. As I said, if your facial expression is concerned, because you just had an argument. Everybody knows it. Ain't nobody keeping secrets. Everybody knows that she knows, everybody knows. And if your face is a little scrunched up or whatever you want to call it, express it. Yeah, I'm not feeling good right now. I'm not. But we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And I'm going to work this out, and then let's come together and talk about it. You don't have to look like, I'm great. No, I'm fine. No one expects that. We're human. Okay? Sometimes you're tired of saying the same old thing over and over. Well, yeah. Welcome to relationships. We all get that way. We're tired. But listen, let me share this with you. Repetition, I learned a long time, is not a bad thing. In fact, there's a saying that says repetition deepens the impression and sharpens the intellect. Sometimes repetition doesn't mean you didn't get it. It just means you need a reinforcement. It simply means that you need to go over it again, because even though I understood what you were saying, there's some unresolved feelings and we need to talk about it again to make sure it's all resolved. The only way to not talk about it again is to sit down, lock into each other, and spend some time until that thing has resolved. And you know it's resolved when both of you can walk away feeling some kind of peace. Feeling like you've gotten it all out. Feeling like you've, in a mature and an intelligent way, you've discussed it. And now you're at a point where you say, you know what? Okay, fine. We don't have to agree on everything, but we're good. We're good. You feel good? Yeah, I feel good. You feel good? Yeah, I feel good. Okay, is this textbook? Yes. Does it work all the time? No. But is this how you got to do it? Yeah. Okay? All right. One word answers. That's another thing, you know? Okay. All right. Now I'm going to keep going because when you have a lot of questions. What about the other person so sensitive in an argument that they are searching your face for every expression to point out the slightest facial contortion that they think might be offensive? I think every couple does that. Every couple does that. You know, whenever it's almost like that old thing, you point at one person, you got three fingers pointing back at you. I think every person in every union does that. Every individual does that, whether we look at each other because we know that our parents' faces differ, or it might be our people at our work. It could be any number of things, but we all do that. We all search people to see what they actually feel, to see what they actually think, because all of us at our root, we want to know the truth. We want to know what you really feel. None of us want a facade, you know. None of us want a facade. Okay, let's continue. Yes. Okay, so facial expressions. Let's continue. The next one I want to deal with are gestures, okay? Now, facial expressions are one thing, but gestures are something completely different. Because gestures quite often are movements, you know, that communicate sometimes with words and sometimes without words. People who are more cultural, people who are more in tune with their culture, what have you, be they black, white, Hispanic, or Latina, Latin, whatever you call it, whatever it is now. Whoever it is, you know, you see on Instagram, I would have gotten canceled for that. But regardless, for people who are in touch with their passion, they talk with their hands. All this, all that, all this, you know, and all that, and pointing at each other, talking like this. You know good and well, I told you that's rude. And this is where it comes to talking with someone. Well, part Italian, okay, fine. I found I'm 61% Nigerian, okay? So we're passionate people too. But regardless, we have to bring it into subjection. We have to bring it under control. We do. We must, okay, if we want to communicate. Clapping with each word. It's offensive. You'll notice that most politicians, when they talk, they do this because pointing seems aggressive. Now, I know that this sounds like a lot and it sounds like, wow, but this is why we got to think about all this. Because you want to be in relationships and people are human. We're not robots. I don't care what Elon Musk says or does. Right now, we're all human. Okay, and so we're in tune with each other's feelings. We're in tune with each other's gestures. We're in tune with each other's emotions. So you have to be cognizant. And first of all, consider yourself before you consider someone else. Okay? Someone says, what about when you look out the window of the car and don't talk? Silence also can be a gesture or an expression or nonverbal communication. This is not what I was going to talk about tonight, but I'll do this since you asked this, Nick D. Silence can be very dangerous, and you can weaponize silence. Looking out of the window, ignoring someone, especially for a person who's a talker. Now, if you're with someone who don't give a fart whether you're talking or not, it's a different ballgame. But if you're with someone who wants to communicate and who wants to get to the bottom of it, and you go silent, whether you're just looking out of the window, ignoring them, it's a power play. That is a power play. See, I pointed. That is a power play. I'm going to stay silent and I'm going to ignore you. Because the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference. Because hate is a passion. Indifference says, I don't care. And love is all about caring. It's all about valuing. It's all about upholding and seeing the worth in someone and committing to fulfilling that worth. But then you have indifference, which says apathy. I don't give a fart. I'm looking out the window. Whatever you say is just whatever. That's rude. And it's a power play, and you're weaponizing your emotions or lack thereof. because you know that's going to hurt your partner. Okay? Nick says, I take everything personally, even nonverbals. I'm going to deal with one more, okay? We talked about gestures. Now I want to deal with this, actually. And it's called paralinguistics, okay? And it refers to vocal communication. Now, I need you to get this, okay? Is that it's separate from the actual language. This is nonverbal communication that has to do with the tone of your voice. Your paralinguistics are the tone of your voice. It's the loudness, the inflection, the pitch. I'll give you an example. If I'm talking to you and I say, that hurt me. Or as opposed to, that hurt me. Same words, different volume. If I say, come here, and I say, come here, different pitch. Okay? And then there's the intensity with which you say it. You can have the same words, but if I'm intense, if my pitch is high, or if I'm loud, it can be offensive. And depending on that person's background, what they're accustomed to, they could have been raised in an environment where they were screamed at and shouted at and berated and dogged out their entire life. And those kinds of loud noises and that kind of vitriol and that kind of anger coming to them could be quite offensive and send them into a shell. You must know your partner and know how to communicate those paralinguistics, those things outside of just 4 words. For example, good for you. Good for you. Same words, different linguistic approach. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Same thing. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I think that once we can master this within ourselves, because we started with that, before pointing the other finger, you'd be surprised how easy it is to resolve conflict. And then again, know when, concerning paralinguistics, know when to be silent. If I were to tell you, I have something that I really need you to hear, all of a sudden, everyone listens. Why? Because I've quieted my voice and I've drawn you in. I'm showing you some tactics that will get you to have people listen to you. Well, you don't have to always argue. You don't have to always fuss. I believe that intelligent, mature people can get through an argument without berating, without screaming, without cursing. That's how you communicate. All right? You have to teach people how to treat you. You're absolutely right. Great advice. Thank you so much. Our time is actually up. I hate when people know they're saying something a type of way, but say the tone didn't mean anything. And that's where you have to teach people. We're going to finish with some of these others on our next one on Thursday night. But that's when you have to teach people, because, as much as folks say that their tone doesn't mean anything, it's funny because it means something when it comes at them. It means something when it's directed to them. No man, I don't care who you are, is going to stand and let somebody talk down to them. Doesn't work. Yet tone doesn't mean anything? Oh, tone means everything. This voice that God gave us, the way that we express, the way that we show love, the way that we talk, it's valuable. Okay? Will you be discussing forgiveness anytime soon? Absolutely, I will. Stay with us. Stay with us. I know you did last week and I missed it. Yes, we're going to come back to that. All couples should be hearing this. If everyone invites another couple on, we can start a movement. Absolutely. And I wanted to end with that. Listen, if we can invite somebody else on, tell your friends. Come on, guys. Tell your friends that they need to hear this. This is stuff, okay, that I normally, talk about in conferences and such. But we're doing this in the app. Please share with your friends. We post our past live chats on the site. You can find them inside the app. Go to the More section, and it's in there. It's in there. The app is pretty big. I don't know where everything is, but they are posted inside the app. Okay, you can get the lives, and right now you can get them probably with all free. They're all older ones, but here's what you have to realize. Again, we're in a limited time. You're going to be asked for a commitment in a couple of weeks. Okay, before now, relax, enjoy it. Let's start this movement. Okay, let's get this thing going. And remember, your words, your gestures, your tones, it all matters. Yay, I subscribed. It all matters. It matters. Okay? It matters. Because once you know how to communicate, okay, then you'll know how to build and develop great relationships. All right. God bless you guys. We'll see you on the next Thursday Night Live.